I'm a dire choosing Cyclones fan. Let's talk about Jaime Pollard's comments about the Big Ten, about the SEC. Will they actually break off from Power 5 sports and athletics? And what does that mean for Iowa State football? My name is AJ Caldwell, and welcome to Cyclone Kingdom. Let's talk about Jaime Pollard. He made some comments on the tailgate tour. Shout out to Iowa State Athletics for doing that every single summer before the athletic year, especially with Jimmy Rogers being new to Iowa State, TJ Otzelberger being locked in for the next 10 years, and obviously the wrestling changes and all those different things that have happened with Cyclones athletics. I don't delve into all the things besides basketball and football, but there's a lot of big changes coming to Iowa State University. Jaime Pollard made some interesting comments about the Big Ten and the SEC. And the reason why it's important that we as Iowa State fans think about what he's talking about is because college sports in 2026 is exactly what Jaime Pollard referenced. It's a money-grabbing system where whoever makes the most money gets the biggest piece of the pie. And the Big Ten and the SEC get the majority of that piece of the pie right now. They have more revenue, they have more schools with more donors, more boosters, things like that, especially when it comes to basketball, men's basketball, and football. Now, the Big 12 in basketball is coming around in those things with Iowa State and Kansas and Arizona and Houston and Texas Tech. Like, there are some big name programs making moves in basketball. That's one sport. The SEC and the Big Ten overall still have every type of resource available to go and do whatever they want with their money. Here's the problem with that, and here's why Jaime Pollard has a problem with it. The CSC, which there's a bunch of different things that go into the CSC, but basically what the CSC was, it was something more or less that was signed by the commissioners of the Big 12, the ACC, the Big 10, the SEC, and the Pac-12 before it dissolved. Now, the Pac-12 is a whole different kind of a conversation. They've remodeled their league, but it's a lot more group of 5 teams and teams that have been kind of left out to dry, unfortunately. Washington State, Oregon State, and things like that. So the CSC that was signed by the Big Ten, by the SEC, by these other conferences, stated in it, and Jaime Pollard mentioned this, stated in it that the fact of the matter is there should be a cap for revenue for each school. That's just the reality. And by the way, if we think about Major League Baseball, which we're not going to talk about a ton on this channel, but if we talk about Major League Baseball, that is an issue with Major League Baseball right now too, is that there's no cap for each team. It's just whatever your organization has. It's whatever your organization is able to produce from a money standpoint. So what's the problem with what has happened with the Big Ten and SEC? Well, they have basically gone against what they signed with the CSC. They have gone against that deal that all these different conferences made. Again, we don't have to get into the semantics and the big terms and all the different legal ramifications of that. But the main point of the matter is the Big Ten and the SEC are proving that they want to be extraordinary in college sports. They want to be out of the ordinary from everybody else. And that's why Jaime Pollard said what he said. If you haven't heard the specific quote, he basically said they should branch off from us, or in reality, we should branch away from them because they're not holding up their end of the deal. And as he mentioned later on the tailgate tour, the cap has become the floor. What does that mean? It means the SEC and the Big Ten are no longer holding to their agreement of the cap. They're now doing whatever they want with their money, whatever they want with whatever schools they have. And let's just be honest, the Big Ten and the SEC have a bigger draw in terms of money and revenue and boosters and entertainment value than the Big 12 or the ACC. I get that. The Big Ten has won the past 2 national championships. Okay, I understand that the SEC it just means more, right? And any given Saturday, and they have these Netflix shows and all this different stuff. I get all of that. But the point is if we don't want college sports to die, if we don't want college sports to turn into semi-pro, it's dependent upon the Big Ten and the SEC to stay within the ranks of college sports. If you branch out, then it becomes semi-pro league. Then it becomes your own thing. And that's what Jaime Pollard is basically threatening these people to do. He's threatening these commissioners and threatening these leagues to say, hey, go try it. Go try it with all your sports. Go try only playing against Big Ten schools if you're the SEC. Go try only playing against SEC schools if you're the Big Ten. That would be what this would turn into. Now, to Jaime Pollard's point, into Cyclone Fanatics' point, and a bunch of other people have chimed in on this. Will the Big Ten and SEC do this? No. But that's also part of the problem. Is because they won't do this, there's going to be a top-heavy type of a system in college sports, similar to what we see with the Dodgers in the MLB, where they can just get whoever they want. The state of college sports is dying because of conferences that aren't willing to play along with others. It's the age-old thing from when you were in kindergarten, first grade. Can you play well with others? Well, the Big Ten and SEC care more about money and care more about the money-grabbing institutions they have within their conferences more than they care about being able to play these other schools. Because let's be honest, with the 2014 college football playoff coming very soon, Big 12 schools and ACC schools are still going to be a part of that. And if the Pac-12 actually somehow survives all of this, they're going to be a part of that too. So the SEC and the Big Ten need to look themselves hard in the mirror and say, is it worth it to potentially be the only two conferences that play with each other? Is that worth it? Because that is what you are setting yourself up for. Big 12 schools aren't going to want to schedule you. ACC schools aren't going to want to schedule you. And Big 10 schools and SEC schools might hear that and say, oh, we didn't want to schedule them anyways. Oh, boo-hoo. Right? I see Iowa Hawkeye fans on X and on social media saying, oh no, we don't have to play Iowa State anymore, blah, blah, blah. Like, how sad that would be. There are rivalries. There are great football games that are still meant to be had within the Big 12 and the ACC. And from a basketball standpoint, Duke, North Carolina, Iowa State, Arizona, Houston, basketball is more prevalent in the Big 12 and in the ACC than it is in the SEC and the Big 10. I know Michigan just won the national championship. I know the Big 10 has some great schools. The Big 12 and the ACC have bigger draws in college basketball. It's just the reality of it. So is money more important, or is the state of college sports more important? That is what Jaime Pollard is getting at, and I think he's hitting the nail on the head with that. By the way, I love that Jaime Pollard is being bold about this and speaking out more. He's kind of been hiding in the bushes and hiding behind the curtain a little bit. And I think with this whole transition from Matt Campbell leaving to bringing Jimmy Rogers in, Jaime Pollard's kind of stuck out his chest a little bit more. And I love seeing that from our athletic director because it shows that he cares about where college sports are at. He cares about what the revenue is. He cares about having a cap situation for each school. And he cares about it involving every single conference. You can be passionate about your conference without singling out everybody else. And so it's an important discussion to have. I'm sure we'll have more conversations about it, but I at least want to jump on here and let you guys know where I stand on it as an Iowa State fan, and that I think it's great what Jaime Pollard's saying. I think it's terrible what the Big Ten and the Big Ten and the SEC are doing to college sports. Now they have great products for football, but what about their other sports? That is the bigger issue. That is the bigger issue. So I'm sure we'll have more comments about it and more discussions about it in the future, but leave your comments down below about what you think is the state of college sports now, and what are your thoughts on the Big Ten and the SEC doing what they're doing with their money, with their boosters at the stake of potentially the rest of college sports as a whole. Leave your comments down below. As always, roll clones, and how about those Chiefs?